and welcome to the latest edition of Luis y Leon, or Lee and Lee, or my brother from another mother, however you want to put it. How you doing? How you doing?
Something like that. How you doing, brother? You all right?
I'm good, man. Hanging in there, trying to make it through this heat wave. You know what I mean? Like every couple, y'all in the heat wave too. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we had a heat advisory until tomorrow evening.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
mean, it's the South. It's always hot. And so I mean,
Well, I mean, that's what we say. We were like, it's July in DC, right? So, I mean,
yeah.
you know,
Sometimes it's just worse than others.
man, for sure, for sure. Um, yeah, man, let's get into it. You know, how we typically talk, not much sports, right? I mean, the summer league is over, excuse me, and, you know, the NFL training camps have started, all that stuff, right? So, nothing crazy there, but
Well,
just
no, the dub is going on and baseball's going on.
well, I mean, true, true. I'll give you that, right?
I'm
The
just saying.
you know what? I gotta say, we must be living in the upside down, and I'll tell you why, right? Uh, Barstool Sports owner Dave Portnoy, right? You've heard of him and you know him. I
Hmm.
never thought in this lifetime that dude I would I would hear him say now is the time to be an investor in the W. I was like, what? Dude who shuts everything down and kind of puts the kibosh on everything that is not on his platform. He literally was like, you are a fool if you do not invest in the WNBA like right now. They are hot, they have athletes, they are marketable. You should be doing this. I was like, is that Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports saying that? What?
Well, here's the thing. I'm gonna call BS on him because what he has
Okay.
seen happen is that, and they've done articles about this, about how the
Mhm.
franchise that was just like open started play, the
Yeah.
Valkyries.
Oh, right, right.
That
The Golden
was
State
that
Valkyries.
was like a franchise that comparatively you could have bought into for pennies on the dollar, and the
Mhm.
expansion franchises, or the re-expansion franchises as I like to call them, are worth like 3 or 4 times what you would have paid to get the Valkyries in just a year. So that's what he's talking about. Like, it's gonna make you a lot of money, basically, is
Okay.
what it
Okay. So
is.
so so I was not misinformed because I was like, when did he have an interest in women's basketball? Right? It ain't that. Right. Okay.
It's the
I
dollar,
bet.
man. It's all about the dollar,
Bet.
you
Just
know.
just making sure I wasn't confused. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, that, that would almost be like Stephen A. putting it on his platform, but I'll stay off Stephen A. for now. I'll stay off Stephen
Right. Well, did Portnoy, did he buy into the shock? Because the shock is supposed to be coming back.
A. Right. Just I haven't heard, so I guess he can talk all he wants till he puts his money where his mouth is. You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, haven't heard that. Haven't heard that. But our Cleveland team talking about the W, like you
Yep.
said, they're bringing them back. They're bringing now. What do you think they're going to name them? Are they going to go back with the Rockers? I mean,
I
because
think they are. I think
you
it's
can't.
most likely they will be.
You have to. You can't really have had a WNBA franchise and then put it back in the city and call it a different name. I don't think you can do that.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, if you looked at what they did, like the Portland is fire again.
Right.
Um, and then I think, yeah, Detroit is going to be the shock. And the
Yeah, the
the Cleveland will be the Rockers, and then what's the third one? I can't remember the third team, or maybe the Fire was the third team.
I
I
think
don't
the
know.
Fire was the third team. Yeah, but the Cleveland team doesn't come back until 2028, I think.
Yeah, the
So
Cleveland team and
yeah.
Detroit doesn't, they don't come back. The interesting thing though is they were, I'm surprised that they were not going to come back south. because the only team that's really in the South is
Is
Atlanta,
it?
and
I was
that's
gonna say,
it.
is Atlanta? Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Or
I know that they had tried to get a team in Nashville, actually.
mm,
They had
mhm.
all, like the Mannings were going to invest, like they had all these, heavy
Backers.
investors and
Yeah.
backers, yeah. And they were going to build an arena. I mean, and for a long period of time, the state of Tennessee kind of carried
Well,
women's basketball for a
I was gonna
while.
say. I mean, why not? Right? That's a hotbed of women's basketball for sure.
Always
But
has been. Shout out to Pat Summit.
right. But why not? Do you consider Dallas West or South? Just because it's in Texas,
It's
it's more
south.
West.
It's southwest. It's southwest. It's different. I mean, it is the
It ain't,
South, but it's
but it ain't
southwest.
South. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got you. I got you. I feel that.
You know.
And do you know what? I probably discounted baseball just because the season is so long, and at my full time job, we've had a lot of issues with our baseball distribution. So
Oh yeah. Oh
counted
yeah. We
baseball.
had it here in Georgia too. Yeah, the Braves and
Yeah,
the network that they were on. Yeah, it was like a suit and all that stuff. But I mean, the All Star game was here, and
well,
I
that's
did
right.
watch
That's
like the
right.
home run derby, and it was crazy. Like that dude from Pittsburgh was he had
Yeah,
like some
smashing
crazy. Yeah,
O'Neal.
yeah,
Yeah, or
yeah.
Cruz.
O'Neal.
O'Neal
Yeah,
Cruz.
yeah. O'Neal Cruz. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He was crazy.
yeah. Well, black and gold. So why wouldn't he be good?
Indeed, indeed.
Nice, nice. Well, we definitely like to talk comics in Marvel and DC and cinema. So I want to jump into that. I want to first. We both watched the series that was on Disney Plus, right? We watched
Hmm.
Ironheart, and I, I don't know. I mean, we were kind of talking about this. I kind of felt it should be a movie, not necessarily a series, right? I was
No, I don't. I
really digging,
disagree.
but yeah, yeah. So I'll go with why I think it should have been a movie, right? Because I think it would have been much better served on the big screen. Number one, number two, with the six series that they had, I think you could have had the opening act, the climax, and or act one, act two, act three, right? All through a movie, and you could have done it in like 90 minutes, right? So I think you could have got and I just think I don't know. I think it would have done better than expected in the movie theater, you know. But they would have had to release it like 2 3 years ago. You couldn't have done it now. You know what I'm saying? Like with the Thunderbolts and with the Captain America and all that, it would have been overkill. So you would have had to release this movie like in 2022 back then. I don't think it would have done well now. But so tell me what do you think it should have stayed the series?
I think that it should have stayed a series because we got a chance to let Riri Williams breathe and unpack her in a very like scripted sort of way. I
Mm,
think that I mean, comic books are series by nature, right?
very
I
true.
mean, the
Absolutely.
comic book movie has kind of like taken that and like smashed a lot of things all together for better or for worse at
Yeah.
times.
It's compressed it
Um,
sometimes. Yeah.
Right. But in some ways, you can look at it at the most successful Marvel movies have been like a series of many kind of like movies. Like if you
Mhm.
or volumes. Like you look at, Iron Man, the first Iron Man is Iron Man Volume 1, then Volume 2, then Volume 3, and they usually only got like 3 volumes. But
Right.
in this case, I think that we got a chance to see what really motivates her, who she really is. And I didn't really like her character from when she was in Wakanda Forever. I didn't really like
Mhm.
her at all. And in some of the ways that she had been written in the comics, I didn't necessarily care for her, but I liked her character in this a lot more. You
Mhm.
got to see the depth of her relationships, what motivates her. You got to see, the black like, witches. Like that was really
That was
cool.
that was dope.
Um,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to see Mephisto show up. You got to see, the Stain child show up, and even the Hood. I was a fan of the Hood. I think he's an interesting, character as well.
Sure.
I think that it probably would have bombed because Marvel had their movies really hadn't been that great, you
They
know. Um,
they hadn't,
so
like you said, they hadn't taken the time to like let the characters breed or develop the characters. So,
right, and doing
right.
things that people didn't necessarily want to see. It's one thing to not
Mhm.
know that you want to see something until you see it, but some of these things were things you didn't really, I personally never really wanted to see.
Right.
Like
Right.
looking at you, Thunderbolts, but that's just me, one man's opinion. Um, but I thought that, we got to see her, be stupid,
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
some impulsive things, out of grief,
Yeah.
out of guilt,
Mhm.
and thinking that she's the smartest person in the room, and
Or out
seeing
of
her relationship with her mom and
the
her.
hustle too, right?
Right, right.
Trying to hustle, and what did the hustle cost? So, I mean, okay, you're kind of winning me over with the development of the series and how we got to see that in each part of the series. You know what I mean? And I think you're right. If you take that and put it into
Hmm.
90 minutes, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, I don't think you get the depth, right, of the relationships. I don't even think you get the well, there's her arc is not over, right? Her arc is not finished, but I
Oh
don't think
no, her arc has just begun.
right,
Let's hope
and
for that.
but I don't think you get to see where she comes from. What she's doing at MIT to where she gets at the last episode. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, I don't. Well, I texted you and I was like, Riri, no. Like, is it worth? Well, I'm not trying to give spoiler alerts. Whoever wants to watch the
Well,
series,
everybody
but
done seen it at this point. It's been
yeah,
out, so don't worry about it. Let it rip.
man,
Just let it rip, bro.
is it worth? Is is making the deal with Mephisto worth bringing back? You're like, so she didn't bring back her dad or stepdad, right?
Right,
She brought back
right.
her
Her
friend,
best friend.
but your dad is the one that inspired you to do all this and be all this. But that's not who you brought back.
There are so many problems with what she did. Okay, let me just run them down. It's never good to make a deal with the Mephisto. Everybody has had problems in comics making deals with Mephisto. Spider-Man,
We'll bookmark that one. We'll come back to that.
uh
Yeah, yeah.
Spider-Man, Doctor Doom, like everybody, right?
Hmm,
Like,
hmm.
the other thing is that, remember, her friend, her best friend's brother freaked out when he just saw the avatar. How do you think he's
Hmm.
gonna feel with her being alive? Number one, like when he sees her in the flesh and blood, like, what did you do to do this? And what did you have to give up to do this?
Because he
Right?
already wasn't feeling it with the Avatar. So,
Exactly.
hmm,
Exactly.
hmm.
And then, yes, and then the mom is gonna be like, well, why didn't you bring back my husband, her dad? Like, yeah, so she just made things so much worse.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, I think that, I mean, you kind of, I mean, it's a young person going up against one of the lords of evil, like a very literally a silver tongued devil. So I mean, he was gonna
That's
charm her out of that anyway, right?
right, right. Well, I was gonna say, I mean, we saw how the Hood actually killed his own dad. You know what I mean? So if that didn't tell you, I still was shocked though. I still was shocked that Riri went ahead and made the deal with Mephisto. I was thinking that okay, she's learned her lesson, right? She was hustling, got kicked out of MIT, right? Okay, then you not only do you steal the suit with all the MIT parts, but they kick you out. They log you out of all that mid-flight. So you didn't learn your lesson from hustling, right? You didn't tell
Right.
your mom about your struggles. You didn't let her in, right? You played the team.
Well, but mom knew because mom had the janitor
Yeah.
watching her. Remember? You know what I'm saying? She's
Yeah.
like, no, I
Yeah.
paid that woman to watch you. She was reporting to me every week, which is so what a black mom would do.
100%.
But
100%. But man, I love so like we this whole show that we're doing now is kind of about character and oh man, I forgot the title of it, but I'll bring it up here. Like character and accountability, right?
mhm,
Like this series that we're talking about, Ironheart, it showed a whole bunch of that, and it really touched on that, right? Like you think,
mhm,
or even you brought up Wakanda Forever, the second Black Panther movie. It didn't really go into depth with her character there at all, right? It was like, hey, there's this genius and we got to save her, but then we lose Queen Ramonda because of her, right? I mean, so right, we
yeah,
didn't get to go into depth with Riri. Um, but throughout the series, okay, she shows a little bit more character, a little bit more heart, but she plays the team. They try to kill her at White Castle, which was hilarious. But
yep.
she didn't learn her lesson. She didn't learn her lesson, right? Because she went ahead and made the deal with the devil. Like
Well,
after
but she's like
you,
a lot of people. They think that they're slick and they can get
yeah,
away with it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
there's some things, and her mother says that to her. You can't keep running from stuff. Her mom says
Mhm.
that to her.
Well, didn't her best friend's brother say that too? Was like,
He
what are you
did. He
running
said it
from
to her
now,
as
or something like
well.
that? Yeah,
He said that
yeah.
to her too. Yeah.
Mm,
So let's
mm.
get said more than once. But Riri's gonna Riri.
Yeah,
Maybe.
hard headed. Well,
Yeah.
and that's what's funny. That you and I are doing this show because we've been young people at one time or another, and we didn't always make the best decisions at, at a young age, and thought we were smarter than the system and all that. But we
Yep.
learned that we didn't make a deal with Mephisto. That's all I'm saying.
No. No, making a deal with Mephisto is never a good idea. It just
No,
never. There are a few absolutes in comics, but that's one of them. At least in the Marvel realm. Never make a deal with Mephisto.
he always has the upper hand and always has the ace up his sleeve that you're never going to get that deal. Like I do like
Right.
how they brought Stain back into the picture too. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
it's too
yeah.
bad she played him because that could have been a good duo. You know, but
Yep,
you know,
yep.
um, but yeah. So I do love the series. I see why I see your argument about it being the series. I would love the movie, but we both know Marvel wasn't doing that. Especially when it was
Mm-mm,
developed as a series. So, but also, before we talk about this other movie, the next movie, Superman, I do want to
mm-hmm,
mention that Jurassic Park, Rebirth, Jurassic World Rebirth was
mm-hmm,
actually entertaining. You know, I've seen all six of them. I own them all. I'm a fan of them.
mm-hmm.
Rebirth paid homage to the first six in many different ways. It also created some new things. And if my teenager was entertained by it, hashtag Dolores, by the way, then, I'm like, that's a win if she was entertained. Also, I got
Okay.
to tell you this, she made a business decision, right? So
Mm-hmm,
me and Gwen had talked about, okay, let's go see it. I bought the tickets and I bought three and didn't ask, my daughter if she wanted to go or not. So I was like, yeah, we're all going. And I was like, cool, you know what? If you don't want to go, that's fine. But you can pay me back the money for the ticket. So she was like, I'm gonna go to the movie. And I was like, well, like it's cool. You don't have to, right? She's like, nah, I don't really want to pay you back. So
that's funny.
she made a business decision and then enjoyed the movie. So
That's good. That's
I ain't,
good. Sometimes
I
you
ain't
gotta
mad.
get them.
I ain't mad at that.
However, you
I ain't
gotta
mad
get
at
it, right?
that. But the next movie that we want to talk about is the reboot of the DCU, the DC universe with James Gunn as the head of the studio. Well, and Peter Safran, but he's just the money guy. Um, Superman, the reboot. Your thoughts? The floor is yours.
I mean, I really enjoyed it. I liked it in so many ways. There were a lot of things that made me think about the Donner Superman. There were
Mm,
things that I saw from the comic, various iterations of the Superman comic um, series.
mm-hmm,
I thought that, it was pretty funny. It was very James Gunn at times, but it was very, I mean, the action was good. And I know a lot of folks said, things like they thought that he was wimpy, he got beat up too much, um, that sort of thing. But
mm-hmm,
I was
mm-hmm.
like, if anything, it was more about morality because Superman was pulling his punches really the whole time. There were very
Mm-hmm.
few times in there where he totally cuts loose, and but when he does you can tell, oh yeah, he's just been pulling his punches most of the time
Right.
throughout this thing, like trying to be gentle, trying to lessen collateral damage, trying
Mm-hmm.
to be not, kill things or hurt things and people.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I thought it was great. I think ethically, there were a lot of things that he said, like when he was, intervening himself or interjecting himself into politics and things like that and
Mm-hmm.
conflicts.
Mm-hmm.
And, he said some very profound things,
Yep.
that he's doing the best that he can. All he does is gets up and tries to do the right thing. And
And
I think
messes
that
up frequently.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right. And he messes up and yeah, I mean, he says, but I try, and then I try to get up and do it again, which is, I think that's something that's in short supply a lot of times in our society. It's not talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that it's something that we should strive to be. I mean, Superman is who we should all strive to be. It's the humanity part.
Yeah.
And he rejects, his message and instructions from his parents. It's good thing that he didn't see it, but
Right.
even if he
Right.
saw it, like how he was raised,
By
he wouldn't
Martha
have been that person
and
anyway.
John. Yeah. It well, that kind of goes to a Midwestern values, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
But no man, I'm with you on all of that. 100%. I went into it. I wanted I wanted to find a reason to hate it, first of all, right? Cuz I'm just like, all right, here we go, another Superman reboot. That's really how we're doing this, right?
Hmm.
But I loved it. I really did, right? Not I thought it might be too much, like with too many characters, the Justice Gang, all of that, but it was not. And the one of the characters that I'm so happy that they put in the forefront was Mr. Terrific. I'm so happy that they did that. Not only
Hmm.
does how do you say his name? Eddie Gatigi, I'm not sure, or Gatigi maybe, but
Hmm.
not only does he get redemption from Marvel, well, they weren't quite Marvel then, uh, from what was it, X-Men First Class, I think it was, where
Hmm.
how do you kill an unkillable character? How do you do that?
Right.
First of all.
Plot anti-plot armor. There you go.
but but he got a great redemption with being another superhero for DC. Um, and as I was telling you too, when we were texting or on the phone, I truly, after watching this Superman movie, you're right. I do like James Gunn as a director. A lot of things. I loved Crypto. Um, Crypto was actually based off of his rescue dog, by the way.
Hmm.
But like what I see coming, James Gunn is not afraid to give characters and even characters of color depth, right? He's not allowed to explore or not afraid to explore um, them actually developing on screen, right? Or giving, they're not just one dimensional. Um, and I love that.
Hmm.
I love that. So
Hmm.
I was super happy with the whole thing. It really it was fast. It was a lot to pay attention to. I might go watch it again. We'll see. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
but there was there
yeah. I mean,
was I was there was a lot going on. I do like Lex Luthor in it too. He
yep.
actually brought a lot of depth to Lex Luthor's character. You know.
Yeah, and just like with, we've seen a lot of these characters in so many iterations. Everybody has a way to play their version of the character. Some work for some
Yeah.
people and some don't work for some folks. Like, but I thought
Yeah.
he was fine, as Lex.
Yeah.
Um, I did like the fact that they did pull in some elements, like I was saying, from the comics, but they also pulled in from the animated universe. So from like the Justice League
They did.
cartoon series, they pulled in things from there. And so
Hmm.
if nothing else, if you're not familiar with Mr. Terrific from there, I mean, from comics, you can be familiar with him from
From
that
the animated
cartoon because he's
universe.
actually
Yeah.
in the cartoon,
Yep.
and
The
that
Justice
sort of
League
thing.
Unlimited. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and even them sprinkling in like the
Oh.
engineer who originally comes from out of Image Comics and the Wildstorm
Hmm.
universe, but then gets pulled in basically into the DC mainstream. I thought that that was good. The guy Gardner was good,
Yep.
and yeah, I thought that was great. I love the fact too, watching it, it was kind of surreal because I could tell when they were
Hmm.
in Ohio filming it and when they were actually in Atlanta filming it
Nice.
places.
Nice.
Well,
Yeah,
like I was
because
like, oh,
you're like,
that's in
I,
Atlanta.
that was kind of cool. That um, one thing I actually like that they brought in too. They introduced things without hitting you over the head with it, right? Um, like the whole pocket universe. Okay, they didn't have to go into detail to explain it. It's there. It's something they talked about it. In the dialogue, they explained it a little bit, but they didn't beat you
Hmm.
over the head with it. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
do
and
like the fact
apparently
that. Oh, go ahead.
it's gonna be the same pocket universe that's in the Peacemaker as well.
Right. Peacemaker 2 that comes out. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
they showed it in Peacemaker
Peacemaker
One,
1.
a- actually.
So that's the same pocket universe. Okay, so it ties together. Well, I
Yep.
was gonna say that was James Gunn too, Peacemaker. So I the one thing, and I'll leave it here, and then we'll take a break. The one thing that I appreciate um, from James Gunn in the reboot of the DC universe,
Hmm.
as opposed to what Marvel continues to do, James Gunn is not starting a project without a finished script. I appreciate that because then you can kind of see the whole story. Now, you might have to do some rewrites. That's fine, right? But how can you visualize? How can you conceptualize what you're going to put on the screen without a finished script, right?
Hmm.
Just like in for Marvel, some of their movies, including Thunderbolts, right? Or even Avengers Endgame. Some they start shooting and they start production before the script is finished. So that even happened with Fantastic Four. Now I haven't seen Fantastic Four yet, but there were things that were going on and they were already in production before the script is finished. So
Yeah, they do heavy reshoots, and sometimes it's
some
to
of
the
it shows.
detriment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I appreciate that as um well, with a background in film myself, but that I think it makes for a more cohesive movie, whether it's standalone or whether it's going to be, this universe now. I think it's more cohesive, you know. I just think you get to follow a story. So,
Well, yeah, because he started it off in the Peacemaker and did it with Creature Commando, so it's all, and even the
mhm,
Suicide Squad, most of it is going to be there still.
mhm.
Like he's making comments at Comic-Con this past week where he
Okay.
was talking about what is actually canon and what isn't. So that, yeah, so
Mhm.
it'll be a lot more cohesive, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean,
I
I enjoyed it. Like I walked out,
Yeah.
I was happy. Like I was
Yeah.
I was surprised. Like I was like, this was really, really. I mean, I figured it would be good, but I'm like, this is really,
Right.
really good.
It was really, really good. I was like I said, I wanted to hate it, but I didn't. I actually like it. And I do think, and I told you this too, I do think we're
Mhm.
gonna get a Black Superman movie. I do. From James Gunn. I really do. I don't know when. I don't know if it's gonna be maybe it won't be a movie, maybe it'll be, animated. I'm not sure. But I think he's going to explore that if the script is good. I think he will. I don't think he's afraid of that, you know? So
That'll be on down the line. We're gonna get. I'd rather have Mr. Terrific. I'd rather have Vixen. I'd rather have a lot of other things first.
they
Before that, even a reintroduction of Black Lightning, even.
I would love them to redo Vixen. The animated movie was okay, but a live act okay. So I'm put you on the spot here. Who plays Vixen?
I
No
don't know.
idea.
It depends on when it gets made because that's the
Gotcha.
problem with a lot of these movies with them spacing it out. Like you kind of have to select young people because by the time it gets to
You
the end, they'll age
right,
out, you know?
right. So you got to be careful. Yeah, yeah. You definitely got to be careful who you're selecting. I was just gonna say they cannot choose Holly Berry. Please, please don't
No,
do
no, no.
that.
I think I think
Yeah,
she'd be out of the running
she
for
probably
sure.
wouldn't
For
accept it,
sure.
but people, you cannot retread over and over and over. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
no, she already had her Catwoman and she's gonna be in
the the
Doomsday.
Doomsday
She's gonna be in that.
Storm, yeah,
So
yeah,
yes, I think she's good, as far
yeah.
as that goes.
Cool, cool. Well, man, let's
Yep.
take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll just jump into a little bit more in depth about character and
Hmm.
um, accountability that we were talking about. I love how the movies have kind of set us up for it, but we'll finish our discussion on character and accountability when we come back. So stay
Okay.
tuned. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. All right, y'all. Welcome back to the latest edition of Luis y Leon Show. And hope y'all enjoyed that discussion about movies. We obviously like movies. We like the comics. We like the superhero genre. Well, not just superheroes. We like the comics, And when they bring them to the silver screen, we like to bring it to y'all with our personal take on it.
Hmm.
but the reason that we talked about though that series Ironheart and Superman, can't talk about the Fantastic Four because I haven't seen it yet, but it also, this is what this show is about, right? Character and accountability. And those those two movies, that series and that movie, they all dealt with that in some way, right? Um, so I want to show one thing first, or a couple definitions. All right, the
Hmm.
the Oxford Dictionary definition of character is the mental and moral qualities distinctive to an individual. All right, that's
Hmm.
the given Oxford definition. And Merriam-Webster comes in with accountability as the quality or state of being accountable, especially an obligation or willingness to accept responsibility or to account for one's actions. All right. And I wanted to share those definitions because my personal definition of character is, are you doing what's right because it's the right thing to do? And are you doing it when no one's watching? Right.
Hmm.
So let me give you two scenarios, and then I want to hear your take on it as well. So two
Okay.
scenarios. I used to commute by bike and probably need to start commuting by bike again. But when I'd be coming home late at night, there's no traffic, right? I'm still stopping at stop signs. I'm still stopping at stoplights on my bike, and there's no traffic, right? People would think that's crazy because, well, Lee, there's no traffic. Why don't you just ride through, right? And I see plenty of bikers ride through anyway. But to me, that's a little thing. But I know that I'm going through the light and it's red. I don't care if anyone else knows. I know. So for me, that's a character thing, right? Another scenario, if you're driving and you can turn right on red unless they have a sign up there that says no turning on red, right? Are you making that turn even if the sign is there or not?
Mm.
Because I've had people behind me blow the horn because I haven't turned right. And I'm like, I'm not doing it because the sign's up there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So what is your take on character and
Yeah.
accountability?
Yeah. Well, I mean, character. Well, first of all, yeah, character is definitely, are you who you are? Who are you? Who you say you are? Every
Mm-hmm.
day. How do
Mm-hmm.
you show up? And then the accountability part is like, do you own your mistakes? Do you own your successes as well as do you own your mistakes?
Yeah.
Are you able to apologize or explain yourself?
Mm-hmm.
That sort of thing. But there
Mm-hmm.
has to be some sort of like humility, with that. And saying the buck stops with me, like you said. I mean, other people
Yeah.
might be okay with doing certain things, but I have to live with myself. Can you sleep with yourself every night?
Right.
You know,
Right.
um,
Or can you
that
look yourself in the mirror, right, and say,
right.
okay, I'm comfortable with what I did or didn't do, right?
Hmm.
Like I bring this up too because um had a situation at the job where and this speaks specifically for us as black men, right? Um Younger guy at the job, black man. I train every new employee at the full-time job, right? And my goal is to give you every possible tool to succeed at what we do, to give you the time to understand what we do. It's a very nuanced job, right?
Hmm.
And also, um, I any questions you have, if you learn a different way, I have to connect with you so that
Hmm.
I can best help you succeed. I don't think any person who trains someone wants to see them fail, right? Well,
Right.
that's a whole nother conversation. But I don't want to see anyone I'm training fail, right? I'm not
Right.
putting
That's a
this effort.
character thing.
Right. I I'm not putting this effort into it just so I can say, well, it didn't work out. Goodbye. Right? That's not the case. So, young man started working with us over a year ago, and didn't again. I understand that I've been there for 17 years. I have that much experience and knowledge with this particular job. Like you mentioned some things. You said there's got to be some humility, right? In accountability. There's got to be a willingness to own up to whether it's mistakes or whatever you're doing, a willingness to own up to it, right? So, long story short, we get through the training process, and at some point, I had to stop teaching him new things because he wasn't getting the basics, right? And so, at one point when we were getting near the end of the training, this young man said to me, "There's nothing else that you can do to physically help train me." Okay,
Wow.
are you? Well, that's been everyone's reaction too, right? And I'm like, "Are you sure?" Right? He's like, "Yeah. What I need is repetition." Okay, all right. I don't believe that, but if that's how you feel, let's see how that goes, right? But
Mhm.
then with that, I asked him this important question. I said, if there's nothing else that I can do to help you, what are you doing to help yourself? Crickets. No answer, right? Okay. So also in the as the end of training, I'd given him very explicit and thorough documents and emails on what to practice so that he could get the reps that he wanted, right? Because I knew he was going to be on overnights. I knew he was not going to have much to do. So you can replicate some things by practicing what I'm telling you to practice, right? What do you think this young man did?
Nothing.
Bingo. Didn't now never replied to my emails, never said, "Hey, I understand this, I don't understand this," and still never answered my question about what are you doing to help yourself, right? So let's fast forward. We have then talked to this young man, was like, "Look, this is your last 30 days. We're letting you go," right? And by we, I mean the company. I didn't have that conversation with him. But I worked with him a couple times in his last 30 days, right? I could have easily been like, "Yeah, I know exactly why they're letting you go." And I could have run down the laundry list of things, right?
Hmm.
Some of it, now we talk about character and accountability. Character comes in when you can control the things that you can control, right? We can be tolerant of a low work knowledge if you are doing other things that are in your control, such as coming in on time, showing up for your shift on time,
Hmm.
also putting forth effort, whether you understand it or not, but putting forth effort in trying to understand this very nuanced job that we do, right? All of those things. Didn't do any of that, right? And didn't take accountability for it. Brother, let me tell you, when he first started training, he was late to his shift 3 times in the first 2 weeks. But
Not a good look.
in his mind, he was only late twice while he'd worked there. Okay. All right. So there's a disconnect somewhere, right? But then, so like I said, I worked with him a couple times during his last 30 days, and he
Hmm.
actually asked me a question. He was like, you know, what could I have done differently? What did I do? Because I feel like I'm starting to understand it. I feel like I'm getting better. And I brought up the very conversation that I just shared, right? I didn't tell him anything else. Didn't say, well, you've been late, this, and this. even hearing him talk about our job, I still know he doesn't understand it because I can hear what he says. I didn't bring up any of that. I simply said, hey, man, remember when you told me there was nothing else that I could help you with? There was nothing else I could physically do. And immediately I see him shaking his head. Like, not like he didn't remember, but like he doesn't agree with that. Okay. And I
Doesn't
said,
agree with what part of it, what he said or what you said.
that's what I couldn't understand. Like, why are you shaking your head? Because it was a conversation that he had with me, right? Almost shaking his head in disbelief, right? Like you're bringing this up. And so the very next thing I said was, and I asked you, what were you doing to help yourself? And even in this last conversation that we had, he had no answer, right? He went back to, well, I needed this, this, and this. And I was like, you never responded to any of my emails. Did you practice what I gave you when you know? And so he did not take into account the part he had to play in learning the job or not, you know? And
Right.
at that point, I didn't continue the conversation because if you can't acknowledge that part, there's no need for me to say anything else, you know? So that's
Mm.
the reason why I wanted to do this show. Like the reason I also say this about this was specific for us as black men, right? I was talking to another coaching friend of mine, and I realized that in a certain way, I was taking this personal, right?
Well, of
because
course. Of course.
because we both know gatekeepers, right? We know people who are gatekeeping,
Hmm.
and here I am. I am doing everything in my power to keep you not just employed, but this is a new career for you, right? And you're younger. So yes, we want younger blood in here, right? I am setting the table for you and you are not taking the baton to run with it, you know? So as I was talking to this other coaching friend of mine, I didn't realize how deeply that was going for me, right? Like we talk about people gatekeeping all the time. Here I am opening the door for you, and you're like, well, can you pull me through the door? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I think that that's a generational thing because sometimes people in successive generations after us don't
Hmm.
necessarily know what they don't know. They think they know everything. And they may
Hmm.
know some things, but they don't know everything. There's no spirit of like, humility with it. The other part is that, I mean, I don't know, maybe I would have told him, well, this is what you want to think about in your next position. This is where you messed up here and you're
Hmm.
young, so you can
Hmm.
recover from this, but don't ever do this again, like sort of thing. I mean, and maybe he
Yeah.
would have listened, maybe he wouldn't have listened, but then at least you're like educating him, okay, this is a rough experience for you,
Hmm.
but this is how you can grow and you can learn, from it, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
100%. Yeah.
because I know like when I had students, there were students that I had to give them the grade that they earned, not what their potential was sometimes. And
Yeah.
they would
Yeah.
be upset with me and I'd be like, but you know what? If I just give you something that you didn't earn, how would you
Hmm.
feel about that later? I'd be failing you as an instructor,
Right.
that sort of
If
thing.
and that's the like all of that is character and accountability, right? Even on our part, we have to have good character in order to do what's right, not what we want to see happen, right? But we also
Right.
have to have a level of accountability so that younger people that we're trying to bring up and bring on, like the accountability for us is holding them accountable to what, like you said, what they earned, not what I want to give you, right? Not what I want to hand out to you. I'll make it so that you can earn it, but you still got to earn it.
Right.
You know?
Right. But then where there is we have accountability, as mentors to them and
Mm-hmm.
to ourselves to, be true to them and to give them, the medicine, like I'm saying, we have to give them the medicine as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
so that they can succeed in their next
The next
opportunity.
absolutely. Yeah. And
Well,
that's pretty much what I did, tell him too. I still got his
good,
number. I'll
good, good,
keep in
good.
touch with him. But yeah, I hope he learns. I have an inkling that he might not, because there's other things that I won't discuss that I do know about that it, I don't know at what point he's going to learn the lesson. But but yeah, that, like you said, we also have an accountability as mentors to
Hmm.
give the medicine that you might not like, you know, but you got to take it to grow to the next thing. So yeah,
100%.
yeah, character and accountability, man. Any last thoughts before we wrap up?
Nope. Just ask yourself, what would Superman do? No, I'm just
That's,
playing.
well,
No,
I
but
mean, what would Riri do? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
but we know what Riri would do. Riri's on some YN stuff. So there you go.
Oh,
If
that's
you know, you know.
that's a whole
So
nother show right there. That's a whole nother show. All right, y'all. Well, we definitely appreciate y'all hanging out with us on Luis and Leon. Check us out. Look on Spotify. Look for the Live All Good podcast. Look for the Luis and Leon show. And also, if you go to our YouTube, the Spotlight series, you will find episodes of Luis and Leon there. Um, until next time, Luis and Leon signing out.
all right. Peace.